great interview here with Jack Counsens from the AA and Sarah Sloman, finding out, can hydrogen vehicles ever make a difference in a real fleet? And do the AA ever stand still? Over to the team.
Jack Counsens, Head of Roads Policy, I've just learned.
I am indeed.
Thank you for joining us on the EV Cafe Village. You're from the AA and you're here to talk about, number one, what the AA is doing to power electric drivers, and number two, what are we doing here at the ITT Hub, and three, I'm going to ask you what ticks. So let's kick off with, you're here, fantastic stand. Please make the time to go and visit the AA stand. Were you behind the scenes involved in making that decision to come to the ITT Hub?
I mean, I'd love to say I was, and it was all my idea. I can't take credit for that. It's down to our brilliant business-to-business services team that have put on a really fantastic stand that's got a lot of our innovations. So we've got our hydrogen recovery vehicle that's actually out in the field when it's not doing shows. That's actually rescuing our members. We've also got an electric breakdown vehicle that's got EV to EV charging capability. So really good innovations that we're showing off here today, and showing actually this is the sort of thing that people want to see us. We want to be innovative, and then even thinking about how can we recover and how can we best rescue electric vehicles, and we've got our freewheeling hub there as well. So making sure that from that perspective, from our customers and our personal members, we're really helping them and showing that we're the number one for electric. But we've also got Drivetech here as well, and Drivetech are a really crucial part of our business, because not only are they doing driver training, because we all know safer fleets make fleets run far more efficiently and make brilliant cost savings, but they can also do sort of early introduction EV into the fleet as well. So we're really making sure that we're covering that whole life cycle when we're talking about electric, not just from a consumer perspective, but from a business services perspective as well.
I'm really glad you've got those three innovations with you, because I find the ITT Hub is quite iconic. There's always a launch, there's always something new that people haven't seen before, and you with your hydrogen recovery vehicle I find so fascinating, because that's taking essentially a car instead of a van, but fitting it out with the safety equipment required, with the alternative fuel for clean air, but also making sure that you're not lacking in anything. You've got everything you need in there. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So we're making sure that the patrols that are using that have got the tools they need to cover the vast majority of their jobs. Obviously they can't quite do everything, but what we need to be doing, certainly as a business, is really testing the technologies out there. So obviously electric is going to be particularly key, but hydrogen as well, and even potentially stepping up to the real big heavy stuff such as trucks, where we are recovering vehicles that have been involved in collisions. We need to be a little bit fuel agnostic. We need to have a look and see what is actually the best solution for our business, and actually really testing this hydrogen vehicle, not just in terms of its capability, but also with more ultra low emission zones and clean air zones popping up and down across the country. It means that we can make sure our business complies with them, and that we keep our own sort of cost of the business down as much as possible, because ultimately if we can keep our costs down, we can keep our costs down to customers too.
I really like that ethos. It's something the ITT Hub tries to do, is galvanise collaboration. And you're here with Drivetech, and I understand that they teach you a lot about driver efficiency and how to be a good EV driver. Have you experienced that?
Yeah, it's a really good thing. So again, regardless of whether you're in a combustion or electric, it's about how can we get the most bang for your buck, regardless of what fuel or energy you're putting in it. And certainly when people make their first steps onto electric, they are very sceptical, and I think we have a certain aggressive tabloid element that really wants to home in on that. And what we're really trying to do is fight against it. What we're trying to do is say, well, actually, the picture is far better than you think. The running costs are cheaper than you can imagine, and if you get the most out of your electric vehicle, then actually the cost benefits to you are really important. So that's really key from a Drivetech perspective, and it's a really integral part of the business, and it also is helping that hand-holding for fleets to make them feel confident and then make their own progression and further expand their EV fleet.
Every single year I come back to the ITT Hub and this room just gets bigger and bigger and wider and wider, and the vehicles that they squish in here every single year just make me go, this is the place to come to learn about the new technologies coming forward. And a business like the AA, which in my opinion is a British institution, it's so iconic, how are you evolving to make sure that you're seen front and centre as that go-to brand?
Well, I mean, as you said, we're very historic. We've been running since 1905, and the one thing that our business has never done is it has never stood still. It has always looked to the next innovation. How can we be different? How can we give confidence to those that are looking at something different? So that means we have to be intuitive, we have to test ourselves, and we really push the boundaries within our own teams in terms of, okay, if this is what's happening now, what can we foresee in 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 years time? And we're really trying to constantly wrestle with that jigsaw puzzle, really trying to get the crystal balls out and really see where could this go and what could we do to help give confidence to people, whether they're business drivers or drivers in the wider general public. And I think that's something that we'll continue to do, and particularly with electric, certainly we need to help that transition, and that's been really key for us, is that we are a positive player, we're doing positive things. One of the real simple innovations that we've done at the start of at the back end of last year actually was every month we produce a monthly fuel price report, so the tracking of petrol and diesel prices. We're now doing that for electric charging in the public realm, so across the different charging speeds, comparing it to domestic charging rates, and then off-peak and on-peak for those different charging speeds as well. So we can tell consumers and businesses, look, this is the cost out there in the real world, it's not as bad as you think.